Hi folks, Puffin here with your Antifa News Briefer for October 3rd, 2021, Epic Heavy is the Head That Wears the Crown edition. So thank you for watching. Basically got me wondering today because there was a bombing at a Taliban funeral in Kabul. It made me wonder who's behind this, and maybe you've wondered that too. Who's behind the Taliban? Who's behind whoever's bombing the Taliban now? And I want to zoom way out at first and say, go back 2,000 years and say, the reason the head that wears the crown is heavy is because it bows to evil powers. As long as evil powers have been running the world, rulers of the world end up bowing to evil powers. It doesn't mean they all do. There can be good leaders, good revolutionary leaders, leaders who go against that power structure to do good things for the people, who are precursors of the time to come, the time of real democracy when we rule ourselves. This is all something that I've discovered was in a prophecy that Jesus gave to Judas 2,000 years ago. So I wrote a book about it, the Book of Judas. And the precursor to that book, the prequel to that book, the Black Lives Matter book, The Art of Betrayal by God. So the prophecy that Jesus gives Judas is that in the future, these evil powers will falter and fail. These governments will no longer exist. That the governments that will replace them will be the governments of the people. That the people will finally rule instead of evil powers. Now, in this case, we have evil people being ruled by evil powers, but you don't even have to accept that part. You can say, oh, I don't want to hear the spiritual side of things, and that's fine. Just knowing that some people are evil or have been taken on that role of evil, such as Vladimir Putin. That the way that Putin did this, he operated his evil through people like Trump. Now, and plenty of other people, Bolsonaro, Modi, Zuckerberg, plenty of other people who are part of this network of evil that, as far as I know, goes up to Putin, may go beyond Putin. There's oil companies and stuff involved, but the weapons manufacturers involved. But Putin, for me, is the top of the pyramid here on Earth, although there's, evil powers that have been fomenting war and this stuff above that on a superhuman level. But leaving that aside, just the evil pyramid of power in the world now, Putin's pretty much at the top of it. Yay, good job. I mean, not really. I'm being sarcastic because it's evil. Cut it out. Stop. I mean, you could even change. But Trump, say, could flip on Putin, or Rudy Giuliani, lower down on the pyramid, could and probably will flip on Trump. So when you see how they cut Rudy Giuliani off, that's one reason. The two pieces of news I got today that really have me asking the question, who wears the crown and whose head is heavy, are the bombing in Kabul of a Taliban leader's mom's funeral, and the news that Rudy Giuliani may flip on Trump soon, and that they've cut him off. Trump never paid him to begin with. He's been disbarred and is facing all these charges, and no one's giving him money. Trump's not rallying to give him money from his supporters, and Putin hasn't funneled him any money that we know of. So if he's cutting Rudy Giuliani off, wouldn't he cut Trump off? Wouldn't he let Trump flounder and face the music? So why wouldn't Trump flip on Putin? And you look so much better if you go ahead and get out ahead of something that you're inevitably going to have to do. Like, we all think Rudy Giuliani will inevitably have to flip on Trump now. Now, the question of the Afghanistan bombing brings up, well, whose side are they on? And unfortunately, the truth is you're getting played by both sides. Whether ISIS and the Taliban are rival terrorist groups, all terrorist groups are supported by outside powers. The Taliban may have been supported by Putin for a long time and may have been under his sway and influence for a long time, or they may have only recently become under Putin's sway and influence as some type of get revenge on America. Well, we know Trump was under Putin's sway and influence entirely. He's Putin's puppet. And we know that Putin had that victory over America, being able to kill 700,000 Americans so far and millions worldwide with the Trump virus genocide, and destroying our democracy as much as he already has and has continued to in this movement, including the ongoing insurrection they're trying to do. So all of that, obviously, Putin's plan. But you can kind of read him like a book it's pretty obvious he does this and would do this. So even though letting him do it doesn't seem like the best strategy, it seems extremely damaging to our country and our people, instead of opposing him along the way if you've known that he's been doing this. But regarding Afghanistan, letting the Taliban have Afghanistan, to me, and you can see my videos from months ago, it seemed like or a month ago anyway, it seemed like a Trojan horse when they first took it over. Like they've let them have the country in order to draw them out of the mountains, kind of the opposite of the Trojan horse in a way. But instead of giving them a gift of a wooden horse, giving them a gift of the country, because they did just give it to them. I was looking up Taliban attacks on mosques earlier to see if they deserved to have their mosques, or if they'd broken spades on attacking mosques, and they'd attack mosques. But when I looked that up, I saw that they had been, that this has been going on for years with them, that they had previously attacked mosques. Oh, I saw something else. I already forgot what it was. Sorry about that. Basically, whose side are they on? Or who's perpetuating this? Who has somebody bomb the mosque today? And it could just be, grassroots anti-Taliban response. It seems like all types of this terrorism is always sophisticated in some way, and it's always coordinated in some way. And so it could very well be Putin playing both sides. We know that he was playing the American side through Trump. We know that they got everything they wanted there. But was someone playing them to give them the country of Afghanistan, even through Hamid Karzai negotiating the deals along the way? Apparently he was always the one like handing city after city to them. Oh yeah, I also saw, that's what it was. I also saw stories about, the Afghan army fighting off the Taliban just a year ago, or retaking various cities that the Taliban had taken, them being retaken by the Afghan army. So of course they could, fight back, but the leaders are handing it over. Whose plan is that? Now, it may have been Trump's plan, thinking that, hey, by handing over Afghanistan to the Taliban, it's going to make Biden look real bad and make the withdrawal real messy and real difficult. And if that was his plan, really good job to Biden for getting out of that as well as they did, with as few tragedies, relatively speaking, as could have happened. All tragedies are unfortunate, but when it could have been even worse, good job escaping that trap. But if the Taliban have fallen into a trap, then who set that trap, and who's springing that trap now by bombing their funeral? It's not something you want to cheer on, but it's what happens when you push people too far. And the Taliban have pushed people too far, and then there's pushback. Or it's what happens when you play a terrorist game and there's other terrorists playing a terrorist game, because all these terrorists are being manipulated by these outside foreign powers. So don't do that. Like, if we can get to, the people who would otherwise join terrorist organizations, you've got to provide them an alternative. You've got to, because I guess terrorists can pay you or something, feed you or something. You've got to be able to give people like work and lives and education and stuff. Education is the main thing, but we need that here too. It's the same reason people are so desperate they turn to Trumpism here in America, is because they lack the education, or they lack something better to do than trolling people on the internet or getting caught up in these, conspiracy theories. There's plenty of better stuff to do. We should all have a Nintendo Switch. We should all be enjoying nature, getting out and helping people. There's all making art and reading and writing and making music and enjoying music and watching YouTube or whatever, without a trolly intent. But the trolliness has taken over, and of course Putin's funding all these troll factories in Russia and around the world to do it. Bots doing it, like you're arguing with robots half the time. Like, it's ridiculous, and it needs to end. If this artificial stupidity was instead converted to artificial intelligence, if we were actually working together instead of being afraid of people who are pioneering artificial intelligence, all working together to create better artificial intelligence that cares about people, because that's the most intelligent thing to do. Caring is intelligent. Not caring, being destructive, is stupid. We've seen that. Like, it's time to declare war obsolete. It's time to end it. It's time to end this Trump virus genocide. It's time to end the rule of despots. And, the Taliban in Afghanistan is one example of that, but the Trumper Taliban in America is another example of that. We need to root these ideologies out and root out the problems in our culture that lead people to these ideologies. So heavy is the head that wears a crown. It's going to bow you down. You'll be bowed down to the other powers above you. So if you're the Taliban, you're bowed down to Putin or whoever's been funding you. And if you're Trump or Rudy Giuliani, you'll be bowed down to Trump or Vladimir Putin. And eventually, being bowed down to them, you'll be guilty of, it'll be shown your guilt of doing their bidding. Or, you'll be bowed down like on the chopping block. It's like the people won't have it when these people are using the authority and the power they have to hurt people. And that's what the Taliban's doing in Afghanistan, what the Taliban Trumpers are doing in America, what Putin is basically doing to the entire world through his puppets. And, presumably, even though he might keep his own people safe from the Trump virus, in his own way to his opponents in Russia. So he's a traitor to Russia. Trump's a traitor to America. The Talibans are traitors to Afghanistan, and so are the people bombing them. But we all need to relinquish that traitorous authoritarianism and get back to the rule of the people. Once we have that, as Jesus predicted, the powers will fall, the people will be in charge, goodness will reign, because people are good. We just need to get the powers out of the way to let our goodness show and grow and come together. So thanks for watching, and please share the message. Let people know, Taliban terrorism, Trumpism is wrong, and it is Putin behind it. So cut it out, because he's probably working both sides. You're all victims, or we're all victims. And if we just band together instead, we can get rid of the tyrants. That's what they're afraid of, that whole tyrant pyramid structure. And whoever's in it is afraid of us getting together. So let's get together. Thanks for watching. See you soon.